And over in the blue corner, it's Carlo Del Fava, who I'm sure is rooting for a first Italian win of the competition. Welcome to you all, gents. Nigel, what a campaign it's been so far for these under-20s. What does that tell us about the strength of rugby below senior level now in Wales?
I think we've seen for the last several years really the pathway and how healthy the pathway is in Wales. For me, it's probably one of the best models in world rugby in producing young talent. A lot of these players have already played regional rugby and now they're stepping up to this international stage, and they've been fantastic. I think what's really characterised this team though is their team spirit and how they work together as a team.
Much has been said of that, Kingsley, and it was evident in that win against England last time out. An absolute trouncing. Did you see that coming?
Well, no, I don't think anyone did. The first win over England in the tournament, and you know, the first 25 minutes particularly, we looked too physical and strong, and we blew England away. The confidence was there in the team, and in fact, Ross, is possibly our biggest challenge tonight, taking on an Italy side, bottom of the table. But do you know what? Last season was similar setup, and Italy pushed us right to the end. In fact, we won by a penalty try at the end. So I know there's a lot of talk within the camp about the mind tonight and just being at the races. If we have a good start, I'm sure we can finish with what we want is the Grand Slam.
But no room for complacency, as you say. Carlo, our viewers may not be able to recognise many of the Italian players here tonight, but they'll certainly recognise the coach. You played with him. Is there a more passionate Italian than Alessandro Troncon?
There's not many around, and I think a bit more eccentric as well. I mean, Tronky's extremely committed to everything he does. He's very passionate, he's very animated, and sometimes looks a bit bemused when players around him can't actually do what he's managed to do throughout his whole international career.
Yeah, it looks bemused and frightening from those pictures we're seeing there as his troops are warming up below us here at Park Areas. Well, as we mentioned, this is the biggest game of all these players' careers. They've had 6 days to prepare from it since that England game, and Scrum 5 Live took a little peek behind the scenes.
Wales HQ is known as the centre of excellence, and the under-20s have been nothing less than excellent throughout this campaign.
From the start, we were confident in our ability, and no better time to show it than against the old enemy.
Obviously, to beat England in their backyard is absolutely amazing.
We've got better every game, little improvements, but that has been our main goal throughout the tournament, and sets us up nice now for this weekend against Italy. And we're going into the game as favourites, but the main pressure will be on ourselves internally to produce real good, exciting rugby again.
The senior set have been great at coming down and giving us praise. We've had Warren Gatland come down just before the England game, and this week Sean Edwards has come down again, and it's just really great for the boys to hear that from such respected and higher people, and I think that really boosts confidence as well.
Confidence then is not in short supply, but superstition has prevented them from saying those 2 magic words.
It'll be absolutely surreal. It'll be an amazing experience. Obviously for us younger boys and the boys who played last year, it'll be absolutely amazing for us.
Obviously the thoughts in the back of our minds, but we're trying to push that aside. So we know we got 1 more game left, and it's going to be a tough game. So at the moment we're just looking to win against Italy.
Well, Carlo Del Fava has hot-footed it up to the commentary box, so it's just Nigel and Kingsley left to talk about some of the individuals in this Welsh squad. And Nigel, you mentioned the fact that unity is what's brought them as far as they have so far, but there are some star individuals in that team, and you wouldn't have been surprised at the form of their number 8, Harrison Keddie.
No, Harrison's a special young man, you know, he's very physical, very abrasive. He's obviously in the Dragon system with Kingsley, so I'm sure Kingsley's quite happy about that. But he's been great, you know, he's played at Ebervale with us all season. The boys up there make sure he keeps his feet firmly on the ground, that's for sure. But this guy, you know, is a real special young man, and it was great. We played Pontypridd on the Saturday last week after they beat England so convincingly. It was an early kick-off, and the first guy there was Harrison. That's the type of character he is, you know. He's not just an excellent rugby player, he's a great character, and he's a type that you can build a team around.
Indeed, and both of you, of course, claim a big part in his development. Ebervale coach, Dragons coach Kingsley Jones. And Kingsley, you're a hard-nosed forward of yore, but I know you've been purring at the form of Keelan Giles, 17 when the tournament began, so still eligible for the under-18s, but it's that classic old adage, if you're good enough, you're old enough.
Absolutely. I think, you know, he's got 2 years left in this age group, but we could well see him, you know, never could have a trip to New Zealand the way he's been playing. I mean, obviously he's got feet, pace. Here he's covering back, working hard. This a nice run-in for him against Scotland a few weeks ago. And, you know, Jason Strange, another one who's been purring about him. He's got everything there. He reads the play from England. Good defensive play, takes an interception and gets another try for Wales. He really is, you know, someone who's got good feet, good hands, and his name is being mentioned at higher, you know, on higher places. And there's 4 or 5 of those guys. But as Nigel said, the team spirit is something that that they work really hard on.
Well, we know Warren Gatland isn't afraid to pitch young players in early, so watch this space. Well, the atmosphere is building here at Parc Arias. It's normally electric for these Wales home games, and Phil Steele is right in the thick of it.
Yeah, thanks very much, Ross. This is what it's all about. 5,000 here tonight at Parc Arias, always brilliantly supported here in North Wales by the good folk of North Wales. Atmosphere building beautifully. Here's an interesting man, Robin McBride, Wales forwards coach, but he's Mr. McBride tonight, parent of Billy McBride, who's on the bench. How proud are you? This could be your son involved in a Grand Slam.
Yeah, it's a brilliant occasion, isn't it, you know? Fantastic venue. They've really earned it, you know, shown a lot of character, a lot of spirit. So I'm looking forward to celebrating tonight.
Nervous?
Not at all.
Well done. And here's a great character as well. This is Dilwyn Price. Now, Dilwyn has been here for all 13 of the North Wales matches for Wales under 20s. He's the stadium announcer. Dilwyn, how important is this an occasion for you tonight?
I am overjoyed. I can't wait for the game to start. I'm like a coil spring ready to erupt any moment.
And you're the man who gets this crowd going. I've always wanted to do your job. Any chance I can have a little go and see if I can get this crowd going? OK, Colwyn Bay, alive on scrum 5. Let's hear it for Wales. Fantastic. Cheers, Dilwyn. Have a great night. And that's what it's all about there, Ross. That is the trophy. Hopefully it's a Grand Slam trophy.
Thank you, Phil. Well, it is nearly time for kickoff. As you can see, the teams are making their way from the changing rooms to the pitch. Now, Wales, as we know, have swept all before them in this year's tournament. They are 80 minutes away from an historic Grand Slam.
And Gasson has gassed the Garçons. Giles to Harry Millard, what a score! And England have been obliterated.
Wales have never won an under-20s championship. They have never won an under-20s Grand Slam. These players on the long walk to the pitch here at Colwyn Bay could be about to achieve something that more celebrated names, Warburton, Halfpenny, Bigger, Webb, Amos, never quite managed to do. Put yourself in their shoes this evening. 18, 19 and 20-year-olds. Some will go on to even bigger and better. For others, this will be the pinnacle of their career. Whatever happens in the future, tonight's result could write their names in history. And as you can hear, they will not be short of support. Carlo, you've been impressed by what North Wales has had to offer over the past few days, and it's not disappointing tonight.
Honestly, being in the hotel really close to the stadium, the amount of character and just the passion I think that the crowd brings to the stadium this evening, it's people that haven't actually maybe been exposed to as much Tex Rugby as they want to up here in the north, but a fantastic turnout, and we can feel the energy of the stadium right here in the commentary box.
You played for umpteen top teams in Europe, you played international rugby as well. When you're in a position like this, what is going through your mind when you know that a piece of history is beckoning?
It's those games of consequence that you talk about, and everything that you do as a player on the field has an effect. So the first thing that needs to go through your mind is literally my job all the time.
Does this settle the nerves, or does this really get them going? It's time for the national anthems. Plenty of passion from the Italians. They were unlucky last week against Ireland, and they know that they pushed Wales all the way at under 20 level last year. Will Tom Phillips lift that trophy tonight? Grunt up front for Wales. Domikowski and Lewis, both senior experience with the Blues. Phillips has played for the Scarlets behind Joe Thomas, the only change from last week. Italy yet to win this season. Wales wary of their strength up front though. Riccioni has European experience with Calvisano. A big back row. Trussardi plays for Clermont, and Minozzi at fly half almost steered Italy to an unlikely win against Wales last season. And here's the replacements. You'd expect to see plenty of them on as well. Lukin, the Italian fly half, unlucky not to start. And look out too for Brown, big Newport Gwent Dragons prop to come on.
Right. Have it.
So we're good to go. It all comes down to this. 80 minutes. They won in Ireland. Okay. They needed a last gasp penalty against the Scots. Too strong for France.
Captain.
And obliterated England in a 6-try thrashing last week. Italy stand in the way of making 2016 an historic year for the Wales under-20s. And we are underway. Ooh, nervy start as well for Wales, and Italy straight through.
Roll away.
Just taking their eye off the ball, Wales. Long, deep kick, putting them under pressure.
Stay.
Trussardi will dig it. Slow ball, though. Wales lined up defensively.
No hands.
Not quite managed to drag the numbers in, though, Italy, so they'll keep it tight. Trussardi. Again. Little gap opening up. Good play. Excellent play from Jones to wrestle that ball back. Gets his team out of trouble. Morgan Williams with a long pass back again, though Italy putting the pressure on. Not the longest of clearances, and it'll be Italian ball. What a start, Carlo.
Shaky start there from Wales, with Dan Jones actually getting them out of trouble there with that great intercept pass. But here we see it, it's the Wales number 8. Harrison Keddie just fumbling the ball, and Italy capitalizing on their mistakes. And look for Dan Jones here coming in for the tackle. Daylight robbery, stealing that ball and getting Wales out of trouble.
It's almost that commentator's curse. Build up, Keddie, and then the first time he touches the ball. But that's the nervous nature of the game when a Grand Slam is at stake. That's good defence from Wales.
That's once now.
Pushing the Italians closer towards that touchline.
On the back.
Still though, with Italy. Slow ball though. Wales done well to slow it down. In fact, they've turned it over again. Excellent defence from Wales. Morgan Williams thought about the box kick. Evans.
Inside.
Time again, and this time it is the box kick. Bruno will gather. Bit of open space in front of him as well, and up against the prop. A good tackle from Lewis. Still with Italy though, who've started the stronger. Spreading it to Massato.
That's a maul! That's a maul!
Again, Wales trying to hold the Italian player up. Force the mistakes from the Italians.
Tackle.
Good Welsh line of defence across the field. Riccioni takes it up. Again, Italy keeping it tight. Just trying to wear Wales down around the fringes. Now a slightly different tactic this time, but well read by Watkin, who's back there. The Osprey gathers, needs support, and gets it. And this time it's Wales who up to him. Beard in the line, good hands as well. Every time Giles gets the ball,
Forward.
there's just that little sense of the crowd getting on their feet. Carlo seeing if he can just find that little gap. He doesn't need much, but hold down there and a forward pass anyway.
It is, I mean, Wales clearly showing the intent here, running their ball out of the 22, and it's just that slight ball forward to Giles. I wouldn't mind seeing him in open space. He looks like a class athlete and somebody that we need to look out for this evening.
I'll tell you what, they built it up. You can feel the nerves around the ground tonight. Little mistakes, little things not quite going to plan. And
it is, it's whenever big games actually creep in, sometimes players forget they just need to relax, get this first hit out of their system and just learn to play rugby. And I think in the first quarter of the game, it's the ref trying to be really strict and stamping his approval on the game. And it's just players just having that slight edge and nervousness when they know that there is something to play for.
Just saw the pitch there as well. Find a pitch in Wales that hasn't suffered with the winter that we've had. Plenty of sand on Parc Arias this evening.
Set.
They've done a great job given all the rain. Here goes a scrum, then down on the near side. And at under 20 level as well. The curse of the modern game. Do you want to talk us through this? You must have a vague idea what's going on, having spent half your life behind the front rows.
I know, normally half our life as well, with your cheek squashed between two big men. And then, I mean, you see Marco Riccioni, he's got a very short bind on the tight head side. His body position, though, ideally is head above your pelvis and maintaining that strong position with your knees really close to the ground. That's your ideal pushing position, and he had it right there, just gone down on the tight head side.
Well, Riccioni, definitely one of the more experienced players in this Italian side. He plays for Calvisano. They've been in that Challenge Cup St. Paul's, the Blues, in fact. And the vast bulk of this squad, Tresadia side, playing in the semi-pro layer of Italian rugby. Again, it goes down.
Gentlemen, we're dealing with the sand. Work with each other, okay? Need you to work harder, need your feet closer.
Frank Murphy, the referee tonight, it's a tricky one, Carlo, in all honesty, isn't it? Because there's only so much he can do. It is up to the players, ultimately.
It is, and I mean, keeping a narrow gap in the scrum will give the ref ultimate control of how we can manage the scrum. Good, slow, clear calling so everybody can actually hear the engagement. And he's actually come over to this side where he believes the problems are on Riccioni.
Domikowski up against Riccioni. And I wonder if they stay on their feet this time. They do, and he hooks it back as well. Great Welsh scrum, though. Picked up under pressure by Pettinelli. Good drive as well from the number 8. It's been all Italy in the opening exchanges.
Roll red.
Wales again. Half a sniff of a turnover through Phillips. Not to be, though. Italy. Looking confident with ball in hand. Not breaching that Welsh line yet, though. Again, it's the one-up running from Italy, not drawing really any men in at the moment. Minozzi. Good tackle from Beard. Again, Wales fan out, it's slow. Carlo waving his hands in the air to urge the Italians on, but it's not coming back quickly. Riccioni. Again, drop goal coming up here. Took an awful long time over. It's a decent pass in the end, and I think he just pushed it wide. Worth a go. Do you want drop goals at this stage, though, or do you keep going for it?
Ideally in the 22, when you've got possession and you've got a midfield ruck, you've split the defences both sides.
Make sure they're behind you.
It comes onto the right side, actually onto his left foot, but he doesn't purchase it really well. Underground, it's really firm, so the bounce should favour him. But I mean, ideally in the 22, you want to be spreading that ball and accelerating the game.
Didn't really have the blockers in place either, did they, Italy? It was always going to be a difficult one for him. Taken on this near side then by Bruno. Sperantino into the line.
Advantage.
Tresadia again. And this time Wales have infringed.
Roll away. No.
And a chance for Italy to put themselves on the board. You'd have backed Minozzi probably to go for goal here. He kicked a fair few 11 points against Wales last season, but no. Fair play. Another kick to touch.
Clearly showing the intent here. They need to get points on the board. I think it might just be out of his range there. Maybe a bit of confidence lost on that missed drop kick. But ideally there, I mean, you see at ruck time, as soon as any players hit the ground, the immediate instinct needs to be to roll away. And at the early stage of the game, the ref is looking particularly for infringements at the ruck that stifle free-flowing game of rugby.
Well, Italy really making a game of it so far. Manfredi to throw. Just spilled his head. Knock on. And that'll be a Wales scrum.
One of the leading stats coming into this game with a 74% success rate in your line-out. Your line-out ball in a game of rugby is your ideal attacking ball. And I mean, yeah, you see Ortiz going up. It's slightly overthrown. The lift is good. It's on the right side of the line-out. But it's just those little margins of errors that stop you from winning a clean ball 30 meters out from oppositional try line.
Well, talking of roughly 75%, that'll tell you how it's gone so far. Not quite the start we were expecting at Colwyn Bay. All Italy, not yet managed to do anything with all that ball though. To the layman, you know, 75% line out sounds a lot, but you need much higher than that, yeah?
You need much higher. I mean, compared to Wales, who got 92. So those stats have a massive effect on the game. It's where you play the game and the consequence of that good attacking ball that gets wasted.
Much more solid scrum this time. Wales, though, content to hold it rather than get the drive on. Jones. Wales being warned as well not to get in front of the kicker. Gathered again by Bruno's done well so far on this right wing when the ball's come his way. Sperandio again. Oh, well taken. Good take from Jones, like his clubmate Liam Williams at the Scarlets. Morgan Williams digs. First in look at Keddie with ball and almost ripped from him as well. Dal Zilio was in there trying to get the ball out of the big number 8's grasp. Didn't quite manage, and again, just those little nerves creeping in for Wales.
I think what Wales are trying to do in running out of their half in the first quarter of this game, ideally in that position, you've split the defences, look for the touchline.
Time off.
Look for the touchline and actually get the territory out of there instead of trying to run out. I mean, Dan Jones there with the take up and unders. He's been prolific in these opening parts of the game. He's done well to clear that ball. Placement gets back, and ideally, if I was the exit strategy coach from here, I'd be wanting to kick out of this, relieving pressure, and actually make your forwards run forward onto the ball and start transferring that pressure onto the opposition.
I mean, we're only 9 minutes in, but is there a sense when you've been building yourself up all day, you make that walk onto the pitch, you know what's at stake, you're perhaps just a little over-eager, you want to win the game before you've won it, if you see what I mean.
It is, everybody wants to try and get their hands on the ball, wants to be part of the action, but ultimately scoring from 60 meters out, 10 minutes into the game is quite a long shot. I mean, you have to play territory, especially in the games that matter so much. They need to get inside Italy's half here and try and transfer a bit of that pressure. Italy have had all the possession, but pretty much through the fault of Wales throwing possession away.
That was Owen Watkin with a smile, and not many smiling faces in the crowd. Nothing to cheer yet, not quite what they expected maybe. Italy take again. It's good ball too from the middle. In goes Zanon. Support is there as well. Ortiz. Big man in the second row. Sperandio again. Again they opt for the little chip over. Not quite going anywhere. They do just nurse themselves just that little bit deeper into Welsh territory.
Very structured play there from Italy. Off the top ball, hit midfield, and with the forwards coming round and the fullback changing direction there, he's threaded that ball through 3 Welsh defenders, putting the pressure back onto Wales in order for them to exit. Wales need to get a clean exit strategy here.
And they do so through to Beard. Morgan Williams across field finds a little gap as well. Good break from the scrum half. Makes it more difficult for the kick though now in centre field. Will the forwards take it on, I wonder? Hughes is there, acting scrum half. Lewis Hughes. Little isolated, and out it pops as well. Pressure on Wales. Evans clears up. Italy, though, sense that turnover. It's there if they can get it. Beard tries to get over, but Italy infringing. And Wales a chance eventually to clear their lines.
Italy did so well there initially with Marco Riccioni actually diving on that ball that popped out of the ruck, but I think just being a little bit overzealous there and falling in on the wrong side.
Let's get a quick word from Phil Steele. Phil.
Yeah, Mark Taylor, Wales team manager, is with me. Mark, it's a bit of a nervous start from Wales. Do you think they're affected by the sense of occasion, the sense of history?
I don't know about the sense of history so much as just the occasion. I mean, obviously they know it's a huge thing to be going for a Grand Slam. I think there is a general nervousness. I mean, even the crowd itself seems a bit quiet, and at the end of the day, these young boys are playing in a big game and they need something to settle in, probably, you know, line break and a score, something like that, to get them perhaps a bit more focused on what they need to do. As I said, it'll come, but you know, I think at the moment those signing nerves are affecting them.
Cheers, Mark.
Much better from Wales. First time in attack. Excellent tackle as well in midfield by the Italians. Again, the Wales just perhaps overrunning it. Italy will play the advantage. Bruno. And the Italians liking very much being down in that Welsh area of the field at the moment. Jones does well. Horrible bounce.
Not on the ball. No hands.
Well, Wales have done well to protect that. Morgan Williams. Evans.
No hands.
They know where they stand with referee Murphy, at least the players. Oh, not quite on. Charged down. Was there a knock on there? Referee waves play on. Perhaps not the right option from Morgan Williams. There are numbers as well for Italy if they can move it. Excellent tackle in midfield. Watkin. Slightly slow again for Trussardi. That overlap has gone, so it's the kick instead. The mark should be taken comfortably, and it is by Thomas. Italy, though, making a good fist of it. Would you like him to see the ball in hand a bit more, perhaps, in the Italians? A lot of kicking when they're down in that 22.
It is, and keeping the ball in the air when you've got an opposition that can actually mark that ball in the 22. Ideally, it needs to find grass, and they need to actually work that ball either to get it into touch, or it's actually finding an attacking player coming onto it. Maintain possession in the strike zone. He has a box kick from 9 that's just stopped there by Leonard Krumov. They need to get blockers in if he's kicking off his right foot, and with that much pressure on, it's extremely difficult to get that ball away. I mean,
kind of a half a blocker, didn't they? The hooker Hughes was there, sort of half blocking the man.
David Hughes there. You need Lewis Hughes in there. You need Adam Beard. You need those big, tall timber protecting your 9, especially on his right foot with a short angle.
Not the greatest clearance either from Joe Thomas. So Wales still under pressure. And not quite showing what they've shown in the other games so far, but Italy certainly up for this one. We should remind ourselves as well just how close Italy pushed Wales last year. Last minute penalty try, and Wales won. So they are capable, and they were unlucky against Ireland last week, the Italians too, Carlo.
The word was a few last quarter mistakes, that turnover ball, loose forwards not actually paying attention to the break, and they broke down the side of the scrum on the blind side, and number 8, they made him look like an absolute superstar, you know, and it's scores like that near the end of the game that just needs to be avoided. They need to stay in this. They've got a promising position here, and they've got all the pressure onto this Welsh team.
Another good attacking opportunity then gathered at the back. Pettinelli, it's quick ball down as well. Get the big men running into midfield. Ortiz has looked good with ball in hand. Switch back against the grain. Good defence from Morgan Williams to hold up his man. Forwards there now. Still Italy. Trussardi. Zanon. Wales trying that choke tackle, trying to keep him up from going to ground, make it difficult to get back, and they've done well too. Turnover ball. Now can they spread it wide? Giles will give chase. Not quite there for him though. Watkin doesn't quite get his man. Evans still with Italy. Again, possession difficult to come by for Wales. Italian mistake though. Bruno must repair the damage done by his forwards. Slow. Little pick and go, Manfredi. Box kick coming up perhaps. Here it is. Trussardi for Bruno to chase. Wales under pressure, not quite gathered either by Reen Williams, the local boy who knocked it on in the process. Advantage Italy. Manfredi had a good start, the hooker, in there again. Not going to quite clean that out though, and Italy will get the scrum and feed.
We see the kick chase there from Italy just coming in, but not clearly taken by the Welsh team. And there's that man Riccione again. He's been really busy in the opening stanza. He's scrumming well, he's doing his work in the loose, and captaining from the side. Looks like he is leading from the front, but too much turnover ball from either side. Italy clearly showing their intent and not wanting to play any rugby in their own half. 2 phases is maximum, and then they're looking to kick that ball into the corner.
Would they be disappointed not to put any points on the board yet, do you think?
I think so. They need to convert this pressure. The possession and territory stats are in their favour. What they need to do now is just maintain that possession and transfer that pressure into points.
I think the crowd thought that might not have been straight. Wales get a good shove on though. You could hear the rumbling roar from the Parc Iris crowd. It's with Italy though. Wales no answer at the moment. Marcelli takes it on. Went to school in South Africa. Great rugby pedigree as well.
Okay.
Trussardi once more. God, he's got a good pass, Trussardi. All sorts of options in midfield. Zan on the centre, seen a lot of ball, gets away as well. Up to the Welsh 22. Italy there in numbers. Wales have fanned out though. And Wales have done well.
Time off.
Mr. Murphy has seen something.
Separate, please.
What has he seen?
Kevin, let's have a look at that, please. Looking at a boot on the player on the ground.
Okay,
Stay back.
Frank, we'll bring it up.
Stay back. Stay back.
Well, no indication yet as to a boot from which team.
Back you up.
I think he might be looking at an Italian boot on a Welsh player. Let's have a look at this. I'm not sure that's a boot, Carla. I'm not sure there was. I mean, it looked slow in slow motion, unless there's an angle we've not seen.
Not too sure what the ref's seen here that we haven't seen, but
I'm just going to bring up that first angle again, Frank.
Yeah.
This one here, nice and slow.
oh, there we go, left boot on the play on the ground.
He had a second dabble, didn't
Okay,
he? If
Frank,
you
I
like.
think
He
that's
didn't
the
look
best
at the
angle.
player on the ground.
Okay, so what I'm saying is not slow motion, but it's a kick on the player on the ground, and most it's petulant, a penalty against the blue player.
Okay, I'll just bring up that last angle again. I believe just watch the blue player's feet. Okay, the blue player puts his foot on the ground. He barely touches the red player with very little contact.
Okay.
It's Daniel Rampelli, the
player
prop.
on the ground,
They're looking
or be a
at.
petulant and given a penalty against the blue player. Okay. Penalty. Kick.
What do you think?
Calm it down, okay?
Not too sure
Doesn't
about that.
happen
I
again.
can understand
I'll
he's on the
I'll
wrong
move
side,
them to the
and
contact. You do not.
he is slowing the ball
Time out.
down. But in effect, I think I'm not sure if the refs made the right call there. I think the TMO was actually insisting that he's hardly touched him, and in my mind, that should be play on.
Well, as Wales clear their lines, let's hear what Nigel Davis makes of all this from the studio. Hello, Nigel.
Hi, Gareth. How are you? All right?
What are your thoughts so far?
Well, I just think Wales have played the game in the wrong areas. You know, they've had a couple of opportunities to clear their lines. There's a strong breeze which is behind Wales at this moment in time, and I think they really need to pin this Italian team back in their own half. And once you do that, you know, they will make mistakes. Technically, they won't be as good as this Welsh team, but at the moment, all the play has been in the Welsh 22. In fairness to Italy, when they've had the ball, you know, they've looked to work against this blitz defence of the Welsh side, and they've either hit down the short side or they've looked to kick behind it, and it's worked quite effectively for them. But for me, Wales have just got to get some field position.
You can see the frustration from Harry Millard, Wales' number 13 there as well. It's just not going to hand for Wales at the moment. Right, here we go, final score. Then England under 20s again, shipping 40 points for the second week in a row. 41-17 France under 20s have won, which means, as it stands, France are top of the Six Nations under 20s table. 41-17. Wales then have to win the championship. It's as simple as that. A win, it's the championship, it's the Grand Slam. They could draw, I suppose, and win the championship, but they'll want the win. Wales have to avoid defeat. So France thrashing England.
Fine.
Wales now know what they've got to do.
Set.
Trissardi. Again, since Mr Murphy had a word with the scrum has stayed up, which is an improvement. Wales fancying their chances, though, with that shove on. Very slow from the Italians, who perhaps fancy the counter shove as well. They do. Pettinelli again picks and goes, big gap down this wing. Good ground made by the number 8. Morgan Williams is there. Italy, though, on the front foot. Ortis, shown up well the second row. Riccioni again.
Get back.
Still just trying to draw in those numbers, the Italians. Trissardi thought about it.
Advantage, knock on advantage.
Lewis did well and forced the turnover as well. Hughes breaks the hooker with a kick ahead for the glass merchants to chase. First time Italy have been under pressure. First time Wales have been in that area of the field. And Wales doing ever so well through their hooker. Chip and chase. And the first real Welsh attacking opportunity, Carlo, and ironically from a mistake from the Italians.
It is. I mean, the first thing they do is look for that possession and transfer the pressure back onto Italy by kicking for territory, and it's the first time Italy have a set phase 10 meters from their own line. They need to make absolutely sure that they nail this line out, clear their lines with least pressure possible.
Big line out then for Manfredi. Wales fancy disrupting. They try, not quite though. Krumov gathers. Italy just opting to force an extra couple of meters to give themselves the kick angle, but they make the mistake. They hold on. The Welsh defence. Evans doing ever so well, and he gets the congrats as well. And from nowhere, after 20 minutes, halfway through the first half, first points should be for Wales, Carlo.
It is first time in the Italian 22, and you got an option to kick for poles and put the first points on the board. It's Sean Evans there, straight onto it. He's made the tackle. He's got to his feet. He's straight onto that ball. Ideal body position, and it's a clear as daylight penalty. But it's that man Pettinelli who's actually been carrying the ball really, really well. It's isolated runners that Italy have been putting onto this Welsh defence. They've been held up twice, and if you don't have your support runners close by to take away that threat, it results in a turnover ball.
Always at risk when you opt to run it from your own line rather than get the kick in straight away. And Italy have paid the price. Daniel Jones then, 82 points in his under-20s career. He'd have to get to 100 tonight, wouldn't he? For the opening points then, as Wales chase the Grand Slam. Simple step for the Scarlets, and totally against the run of play. Wales lead by 3 points to 0.
Italy will be really frustrated with that, conceding points the first time Wales have actually gotten into the Italian 22. They need to get this ball back now and maintain possession for a bit longer.
Keddie does well under pressure. Sets it back. That's good strong play from the number 8. On a plate for the scrum half. Jones under pressure. Didn't like it as soon as he kicked it, and again Wales playing themselves into a little bit of trouble.
He just hasn't got hold of that. But it's the kick chase that's actually coming onto his right foot. If that kick chase had come just from the other angle, he would have had more time, more space, and would have been a clean kick. But it just shows you that I think Italy have done their analysis, and they've chased down the right-hand foot of Dan Jones.
I was going to say, Ciotoli, the number 7, has consistently run that channel at Jones and caused him problems in the opening quarter of the game. Now, Jason Strange, the Wales coach, said in the build-up to this, he was wary of this Italian rolling maul, of this set piece, and that is difficult to defend. Where is it? It's gone to ground. Trissardi calling his forwards back round. Really dragged anyone in here, and they're making hard work of it, two of the Italians, but Wales come in from the side under pressure, and from that sort of range, a chance for Italy to pull themselves level, and they deserve it, honestly, Carlo, wouldn't they?
It's a frustrating penalty from the Welsh point of view, because they did so well to get this maul down without conceding a penalty. It's slow ball. You need to just get defenders on your feet, maintain that integrity of the defensive line, and just fire off the line in that 22.
I'll tell you what, you have to applaud the Italians for their intent. They're not coming here to make up the numbers tonight. They're going for tries, Carlo. Kickable penalty, kick to touch, and perhaps that rolling maul will come again. They don't need to go quite so far this time. Attacking ball to the back as well. Round they peel. In go the bodies.
He's fine.
Forward momentum is there. Wales have done well again to drag it to ground, though. Exceptionally well. Good play from the Welsh defence. They read it, they stopped it, and they'll get the put in.
They'll be really happy with that result, but Italy, if the maul starts and the ball is in front of that maul, it's extremely difficult to get that ball back when you need it. The scrum half has to dig for the ball and results in slow ball. And if the ref calls the maul and the ball goes down and it's not presentable, turnover ball. And I think Italy, they'll be really disappointed with that, not converting any of this pressure.
Quicker, please, Wales. Crouch! Bind!
It's not going to be the easiest angle when this comes back to Daniel Jones. It's one of those tricky ones where you have to sacrifice a bit of distance for just getting the ball away.
We'll go again. I want you quicker, and I want you a bit closer.
If the scrum sets ever, of
Here
course.
we go. Stay straight.
The first phase ball from the base of the scrum to a short runner would be ideal to open up that angle and just give you a kick under less pressure.
Bind! Set!
That's the angle pretty much.
Leave him 9.
Scrum half's getting a bit involved. Keddie is that runner. Good play from Wales as well, just to burst up.
No
Watkin,
7, no hands.
the big Osprey, setting the ball back, but Italy
From the back.
sensed something of a turnover. It's that Manciatoli in there again. Wales have kept it though, but not that cleanly. Jones, similar sort of angle, opts long. Bruno, underneath it.
Okay, advantage.
Sperandio. Big gap over on the outside, half through it. Good tackle.
Advantage.
Excellent play from Evans. Still the Italians though. Bruno thumped down, forward pass. That's an excellent tackle. Owen Watkin putting himself about. 16.5 stone at the age of 19. Already an Osprey. He's one of those names to look out for.
Good play here from Sperandio, looking for that counter attack. But it's a big tackle here from Owen Watkin that results in the turnover ball, and ref was actually playing advantage from an offside player in on that kick chase from Wales. Italy opt to go for post. I think it's the right option. 3-0 down. They need to get more points on the board.
Yeah, it's a long advantage and worth playing for the Italians, I suppose.
Was offsides on that kick chase there, but like we mentioned, Owen Watkin taking that short ball off the scrum to open up the angle for an exit kick. It should have found touch, would be ideal, but if it does find space, it gives
and easy
you,
for Minozzi, straight in front and straight over. 3-3. Italy deserve it as well. Let's speak to Phil Steele.
Yeah, thanks, Gareth. National Performance Manager Gethin Watts is with me. Gethin, you'd have seen these players come through right the way from the base, if you like. This is tell us, how big is this game for them? Is this the biggest game that some of them will ever been involved in?
From a national point of view, absolutely. There's a lot of players out there with some a fair bit of regional experience, but from a national, international point of view, there's a lot of expectation on the game tonight, and there's a lot of expectation coming into the occasion, and they're coming under a fair bit of pressure.
Chance down from Wales from nowhere. Watkins after, he won't get there though.
Won't get it.
Minozzi scampering back, but just like the penalty that Wales had that totally was against the run of play, all of a sudden Italy play themselves into trouble.
Minozzi saving the day here. It's actually him, it's his kick that gets Sperandio's kick that actually gets charged down, but massive pressure there from Wales, and Minozzi saving the day just by touching that ball down.
Quick reactions from the fly half. Oh, Keddie just about. I think it's gone backwards. No, it's gone forwards. I think Keddie initially thought it was forwards, then thought, I've got away with it. And then Mr. Murphy called him back. Funny old game for these handling errors, isn't it?
He's dying to get his hands on the ball. He just wants to run with it. Him and Owen Watkin, they just haven't had the possession. But as the ball comes out, it's just slightly drifted away from him. He just sees frustration as he smashes the ball down after after conceding the knock-on.
Alessandro Troncon has just seen you, Carlo, by the way. We were talking before the game about how he's quite animated. Quite is a word that wouldn't quite describe Alessandro Troncon at the moment. I haven't seen one of his mates.
I wouldn't be able to translate what he's just said to me on air, but he's clearly animated and he's really excited. He's really pleased with the way Italy have started this game.
Hey, my Italian's rubbish, and I understood the gist of it. Well, there we go. Wales under. It's this side, isn't it? Always on the scrum. This Riccioni Domakowski battle, and Italy profiting this time.
It is. I mean, you've got 40 meters out. Ideally, the exact option you need to go for here is put points on the board. It's Riccioni's position here. He's really strong. He's not allowing Corey Domakowski to have any effect on the hooker at all. He's got a really short bind. His shoulder is actually high on the engagement, but because he's so wide and his chest is so big, it's not allowing Corey Domakowski to get in at the hooker at all. Really good scrum from Italy.
Doesn't hang around, does he? And it's through the posts as well. Italy, deservedly, half an hour gone, are in the lead, 6-3. Let's get back down to Phil and finish that conversation.
Yeah, Gethin, you were saying about the level of expectation on these under-20s, so, but will that stand them in good stead for their senior careers?
Yeah, I think it will, and with the expectation, I know the talk all week has been about delivering on that expectation, but they still have to do it, you know, and Italy are putting us under a fair bit of pressure, and we certainly would expect that from them, and like I said, for them to deal with this type of expectation, this type of occasion, it certainly is going to stand them in good stead for their future careers.
You know them well. Who are we looking for now to spark them?
To be fair, there's a number of people out there, but people like Harrison Keddie, Ruben, Reen at full-back, you know, there's a lot of people who can spark the team, but this is going to take a bit of a collective effort now to galvanise the group, because there needs a little bit more sort of cohesion and a little bit more a bit of calmness on the ball a little bit for us to control the ball, so hopefully we'll see a little bit more of that.
Cheers, Gav, thanks for your time. Cheers. Back to you, Gap.
Italy fancy this, I'll tell you what, Phil. Lots of pressure. Morgan Williams waits. And just a bit of pressure relieved. Italy overcommitting, over-eager, and Wales a welcome chance to clear their lines.
I'll tell you what, Lorenzo Marcelli's having a big impact on this game. He's running the ball back at this Welsh team. He's front line in the kick chase. He's the one that's actually making the tackle right deep in the Welsh half. Keep an eye out on him during this game.
Yeah, here we go. We were talking about him, weren't we, in the build-up? Schooled in South Africa, plays like a South African, Carlo.
Big loose forwards, I think they're in abundance in South Africa, but he's been really busy. He's a really positive contribution as well.
Yeah, went to the same school as Scott Spedding, the France fullback, and Chris Froome as well, the Tour de France winner. Good sporting pedigree. Now Keddie gets hand on ball, but opts to pass instead, and again, just that little error creeping in. David Hughes, the hooker this time. Italy ball.
Here's the mark. Let's go, Wales.
Wales unfortunately just haven't had an opportunity to build any sort of rhythm, any momentum, any fluency in their attack because of the handling errors. They haven't conceded many leading up into this game, and there's just something that's just amiss. I wonder if it's nerves, if it's just that anticipation that they have to win this game to, well, draw would be fine, but obviously a win would be better, but they're just not on song at the moment.
How's your mate Alessandro going to cope with another 50 minutes of this? He's visibly twitching with half an hour gone.
It's always like it.
A good scrum again from Wales. Will they get the reward? No. All over the place. It's been a right old battle up front, hasn't it, at their scrum turn.
One thing I think on Italian ball, Marco Manfredi, when he needs to hook the ball, he's coming up slightly. You just see it there. He's the first one that pops out of the scrum. He's lifting his leg up to get the ball back on the strike, and it's just allowing that Welsh pack to get underneath him, and it's resulting in the pop up in the scrum.
Now that hookers hook again, there's always that danger, isn't there? That you do pop up when you're trying to get the ball back.
It is. It's just keeping that flexibility in the hips and the pelvis and staying low with your pelvis low to the ground as you do strike with your heel.
Set.
Trussardi then to feed. It's better from the Italians. Wales are getting the shove on again. You saw Manfredi's boot desperately making contact with the ball. Italy managed to tidy it up though.
Fine.
But it's slow. Manfredi at scrum half. Ortis. And Marcelli dived over. Play on, says the ref, and it's a long way back to Minozzi under pressure. And now a chance for Wales to counter. Williams into traffic. Excellent protection from Keddie. Hughes takes on. This is better from Wales. Jones. Crowd urging Wales to spread the ball, and they do. Giles calling for it. Giles to chase. He's got gas. I could just see him starting to break into full flow, but the touchline beats him.
They're trying to move this ball into Giles's hands. He's just, every time he's got the ball, he's been under pressure. He's been chasing kicks. He's been he hasn't been allowed to the free reign of open space. But I mean, you can clearly see he's got pace. He's pure athlete, and I just wouldn't mind seeing Wales keeping the ball in hand. I mean, from an Italian point of view, doing what they are is it's playing straight into Italy's hands. They need to maintain ball if they need to ascertain any amount of pressure onto this Italian team.
Just wonder if Wales might fancy half-time now and another team talk just to settle nerves and say, hey, you've actually got to win because France have won, so you have to win now.
The thing is, I mean, just their style of attack from the onset, they're wanting to shift the ball, they're wanting to be wide. Italy has been completely opposite. They've been direct, they're taking route one, they're getting over the gain line, and it's allowing them to get behind the Welsh defense. Under pressure, you cause mistakes, you concede penalties, and that's why Italy are in the lead by 3 points.
I bet that's an alternative smelling salts with the sock half off at this time of the game. He looks calm now, actually.
I know, any tight head prop who's taking his boot off is Brazil's going to have a bit of a surprise.
Oh, he's done well as Riccione.
He has to. He's been busy in the opening phases. He's been solid in the scrum as well. And I think the leadership in selecting the right options, the right areas of the field to play in as well. He's had a massive contribution for this team.
Let's bring in Gwent's finest. Kingsley, what have you made of it?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot saying about. Nigel was right in saying we're failing to exit and play the game in Italy's half. But you know what? We've just made errors in our own half, and also when we've tried to exit, it hasn't been good enough. But picked up there the last 5 minutes. Nice to see some intention and just executing our skills a bit better.
I just wonder if that little break in play will benefit Wales as well. A chance to regather thoughts and to put pressure on this Italian line-out. Crowd on their feet as well. Safe ball for Marcelli. Got to work it round down now to get that ball clear. Wales sends the shove on. It's half charged down as well. Kick wasn't really on. And Trossardi has done his forwards no favours whatsoever with that clearance kick, although it has come off a Welsh rather than an Italian hand.
I think Corey Domokowski, wasn't not having actually clearly intent on what he wanted to do with that charge down. Trossardi basically kicked it straight into his hands.
So they've got to do it all again. Again, safe front option from the Italians. Manfredi peels round. Better managed. This time the box kick, perhaps. Here we go. Hasn't quite got the direction, but has the distance, and that will calm some Italian nerves. And does, though, Mark. Carlo, I should say, does give Wales a good attacking opportunity, and they have over the last 5 minutes managed to get something of a foothold in the Italian half.
They have. I think I'm a big believer in if the ball's inside the 22 and you need to exit, get it off the pitch and then rebuild yourself from there. The last thing you want to do is defend a counter-attack.
Quick ball from Wales. Morgan Williams, Jones Giles off his wing, steps, shows, almost goes. Good tackle from Minozzi. Round the ankles, better from Wales though, over that gain line. Hughes. All the heavy mob in there to try and wrestle that ball back. It has been slowed down though. Beard.
No hands off your fan.
Oh, Italy sniffed the turnover, warned by the ref though. Morgan Williams under pressure. This is better from Wales. Tomakowski, is he going to get that ball back? He's held on a while.
No, no.
Italy again warned, over eager. Marcelli this time. Wales have lost ground in the move though. Lewis. Not many options. The fly-off is in there as well to offer protection. Phillips and Keddie trying to conjure something. Evans immediately swamped.
Hold on.
Again, Wales behind that advantage line, having to work very, very hard. Look at the numbers they're committing just to try and win that ball back. Italy making life hard for them. Hughes again. This would be an excellent time for either team to score. Wales, though, again, just forcing it, and they're going to come back. And it'll be a scrum down Italy ball, and there's the frustration.
Can you imagine their frustration? You mentioned, Gareth, the Wales having to commit numbers in this ruck. I mean, there's one Italian player on the floor, and the knock on there from Harry Millard. People in defense, and you've got more numbers on your feet, you can then get more line speed and exert that that pressure onto the attack. But Italy just being controlled, being calm, being relaxed in defense, not committing players in the ruck at all, having more players on your feet, and Wales, they just got nowhere to go.
You have to hand it to Italy. When you know that you've got players like Keelan Giles, like Harry Millard, like Owen Watkin, like Joe Thomas who can run, if you make sure you put as many Welsh people into a ruck or ball as possible, you don't have the numbers to get the ball out wide, do you?
Exactly, and I think they've contained him really well. They obviously identified him as being a massive threat leading up to this game. He's had a bit of, you've seen little sparks of it when he's had a little bit of space, but I think Italy have definitely marked him really well this evening.
Crouch!
Again, same thing remains. If either side were to score here, that could be a crucial score. As half-time approaches, Wales push early.
Over here.
And will Italy go quickly or will they slow it down? They slow it down. They've had a good half so far.
Italy going for a long kick here and with a big kick chase line, but the wrong option. Kicking directly into touch is a really, really bad mistake.
Free kick, not penalty, so you can't kick directly into touch from the free kick. You can from a penalty. Minozzi either didn't look at the referee's arm or didn't listen, and he's put his side under all sorts of pressure needlessly.
Short-term penalty there, and he's gone directly into touch. Clear intent to clear that ball into the stands, but you can see he's really disappointed with that decision.
Oh, well, shorten the line as well. Keddie and Evans in midfield. They win it too. It's an attacking throw. Middle ball. Watkin. Giles off his wing. Can't quite get past Pettinelli though. Trying desperately to get Keelan Giles into play. Again, it's sloppy. But Italy over the top. And with half-time approaching, Wales may well go in level.
It's the bane of any coach's life when a team compounds errors. It's the direct kick into touch, and then infringement. Ref was clear and vocal there to leave it, but the infringement at the ruck results in now in Wales having an opportunity to go for 3 points.
In fairness, Mr. Murphy, very, very clear with his instructions. Is there a language issue? If your English is perhaps not that good, that you don't quite process it, or do you know? You know, do you?
I don't think at all. I mean, these youngsters. I mean, most of them will be bilingual. They'll know a lot of the English terminology when the ref is speaking, and they'll understand exactly what he's saying.
Big kick then for Daniel Jones. Wales have been up against it and not quite able to make things stick. This to take them in level at half-time. Oh, you know as soon as he kicked it as well. It's a good one. Wales 6, Italy 6. It's quite a game. As things stand, if it stays the same, Wales will be under-20s champions. They wouldn't get the Grand Slam though. Your thoughts?
Italy have played extremely well this half. A few mistakes that just not letting them convert all that pressure into opportunities and making that scoreboard tick over. I think Wales will have strong words with them at half time.
Big half time. Let's go down to Phil.
Mark Taylor, team manager, how concerned are you?
It's obviously a worry because we haven't got into our stride at all. You know, I said we've barely got through phases. We are spilling the ball, and you know, they just look slightly more dynamic and on the ball than we do at the moment. So we just got to get them invigorated now and get them out and start again in the second half.
And what needs to be said half time?
Well, it's basically composure, really. Composure and tempo on the game. But said it's very flat. You know, to be at our best, we need a fast game at the moment. We're not getting the ball through the phases enough time to really stretch them.
France have beaten England, by the way. Better not tell the boys that, though.
I won't.
Cheers, Mark.
So teams out, and this is the biggest game for these 15 players of their careers so far. And it's been cagey, it's been tense, it hasn't been pretty. Wales will be happy with 6-all at half-time. Plenty of mistakes littering the early exchanges, but it was Wales who took the lead 3-0. Their first foray into the Italian 22. The Italians having much of the territory in possession, and they levelled things via their fly half. But that penalty kick from Dan Jones on the stroke of half-time means Wales go into the sheds 6-all, and as Gareth was saying in commentary, that is enough to crown them champions, but they want a lot more, of course. They want to be crowned Grand Slam champions. Let's have a look at those half-time stats. Tackles made and missed, 54 made for Wales. Italy have made 33. Wales missed 5 to Italy's 2. But look at that one, that's an interesting one. Wales won 7 turnovers to Italy's none at the moment. Penalties conceded, some of them have been controversial, but more or less honours evens there. Italians carrying the ball a lot more, and some very powerful runners as well. They have both in the back line and in the pack. Gentlemen, it's been tense and cagey, and I'd imagine in that dressing room, Nigel, nerves will be jangling a little bit.
Yeah, you know, this is uncharacteristic of this Welsh team. Just watching their body language at times, they're not speaking to each other, they're not communicating, and as I said before the game, it's all been about team for this team Wales. We're not seeing that today, and it's probably the worst performance that they put in. You can understand maybe coming off the back of a big win against England, but they really need to push home the advantage here. And you know, they've played a lot of the rugby in their own half. They've been edgy, they made lots of mistakes, which is the Italians have been able to capitalise on. So you know, they'll be very disappointed with that first half.
What can we put that down to, Kingsley? Are the Italians playing well and putting pressure on the Welsh, or is it a bit of Grand Slam fever? They're thinking too much about the end result.
Yeah, they are playing well, the Italians, but I think a little bit of nerves, composure. I know the coaches, Jason Strange's mantra really is focusing on skill execution and making sure they do their things well, and we haven't seen that in the first half, not as what you'd expect. And playing field position is all well and good, but you know, you need to kick well, you need to have some structure, and also when you do try and play in your own half, you can't make errors.
Yeah, as you said, they've prided themselves on their skill and execution so far in this campaign, and it's seen them score some spectacular tries. But in that first half, they played so much of the rugby trapped in their own half, and when they did try to clear their lines, they just made uncharacteristic mistakes.
Yeah, I mean, even from the first kick of the game, you know, the restart we're looking at here, it's just about detail. It's a nice kick. We see Dan Jones under the high ball, not perfect, but the forwards there, the Welsh forwards, should be running a block line. That is too easy a line straight onto Dan Jones. He's getting tackled as he receives the ball, and he still tries to force the ball to Harrison Keddie. Harrison could have come a bit closer. And then, okay, we're confident, keep the ball in hand is a good idea, but you know, simple little things like this early in the game dent your confidence and give confidence to Italy. That's adjudged forward. Again, similarly, you feel, look, it might be on out there, but again, the miracle ball, and it's not accurate enough. And this is a story for us. If you look here, we need blockers here. You know, Morgan Williams needs a block as this and get his kick in. It's all too easy for the Italian lock to get through. Pressure again, we failed to exit. We go up to the Italians half and get 3 points, but again from the resulting restart, this time is a kick from Dan Jones. Look how easy it is here for the Italian players to get through. He should probably be stood in the pocket behind the ruck. And again, there's a lot of pressure leading to a poor exit, and that led to a 3-pointer for Italy. And again, we're seeing errors here, and that's kind of summed up the half.
Yeah, Dan Jones expressing the frustrations of the entire team with that drop ball there at the end. Nigel, we talked at the top of the programme about the unity in this squad and how they're all playing for one another. And you mentioned during the half that at times they do look like individuals.
Yeah, they do, and they'd be very disappointed in that. You know, they really need to pull themselves together, put their foot on the ball, and just build a performance. Make sure they cut out some of these errors in their game and play in the right areas of the field. And they'll be very disappointed with that first half. But I'm sure they can turn things around. You know, they've done this time after time throughout the season. And, you know, a few choice words, I'm sure, from Jason, and then hopefully they'll come out and manage this second half a little bit better. We've seen there's been huge opportunities when they've had some good field position, with the Italians becoming very short defensively. And I think if Wales can hold on to the ball and go through a couple of phases, it'll be key. And what we haven't seen, you know, they've not gone through a set of 6, as we say, from an attacking perspective. And what we're talking about there, if you get to 6 phases in most rugby games, opportunities will present themselves, but we've not seen that.
We should give credit to the Italians, as Kingsley already has done. I mean, for most of that half, they were kind of struggling in the scrums, and it was a retreating scrum, but their number 8 was manfully picking the ball up and making hard yards off the back of a retreating scrum.
Yes, Pettinelli, he's been very impressive. He's tall, rangy, been very physical, won all of the confrontations really with the Welsh guys, always gets them on the front foot. Really difficult character to stop, and he's been sort of instrumental in everything that Italy have done. Got them onto the front foot, got them going forward, and catalyst for everything that's been good about this Italian side. And let's not take anything away from this Italian team. You know, they've played the conditions, they've played the opposition really well, they put pressure on Wales, and really, from my point of view, this is exactly what Wales should have been doing to Italy. Put them in the right areas and put pressure on them, because technically they're not as good as these Welsh guys, but that hasn't come through in this first half.
So 40 minutes left then for Wales to secure their Grand Slam dream. It's 6-all at half-time. Here's what else is coming up on BBC TV over the weekend. It is nearly upon us. Let's go back down to Phil Steele.
Yeah, Geraint Johnson with me, head of rugby performance. Geraint, you've just come hot foot from the changing rooms. What was said in there?
Well, I think there were some strong words there from Jason, to be honest, but also making sure, you know, it's still 6-all, and they haven't performed this half, that half, you know, 18.5 minutes whereby, you know, the opposition had the ball. They're going to look after the ball a little bit better. But, yeah, there were strong words there from Jason, which was good to hear. And hopefully we'll see a little bit more passion and emotion now.
And very briefly, what would a Grand Slam mean?
Well, I think it's, you know, these players, and we haven't done it for over 11 years. And it's important for us. You know, there's some very good quality players there. And, you know, hopefully they'll grasp it this second half and get on to win it.
Cheers, Geraint. Thanks for your time. OK, let's cross back to the commentary box. And Carlo Del Fava and Gareth Lewis.
Thanks, Phil. 2005, the last time Wales won a Grand Slam. It was under 21's then. Alan Wynne-Jones was in the team. It has been a long, long time. As things stand, remember, Wales would be under 20's champions this season. It would not be the Grand Slam, though, at 6-all.
Captain.
Italy were out early. They went through their drills. You get the sense they fancy something here, but Wales' body language looking strong and positive as well, as Daniel Jones gets us underway.
There, no problem.
That man Pettinelli there again to protect. A good first half again, though, the charge down. There've been a few in this game. Good pick up on the far side. Did it go forward? It didn't. It did. Thought for a moment it hadn't. Trossardi charged down. Wales not quite able to gather, but much as Wales put themselves under pressure at the start of the first half, Italy doing the same in the second, Carl.
Exactly, it's that extrication process that you can't, if you get it wrong, you put yourself under massive amount of pressure, and Trossardi just not getting his kick away there. And if Wales come away with maintaining that ball, Italy are under serious pressure.
It was the fingertips of Tom Phillips did it. No protection really for Trossardi. And the captain was there.
Bind. Set.
Early pressure then from Wales, who push early.
Key word, stability, okay? I expect it from the start. Let's
well,
go.
You have it. Frank Murphy laid down the law early on, and he's doing the same in the second half as well.
Scrums haven't been too bad in the first half. Italy actually maintaining their ball, but it's that man Manfredi that just needs to keep his body position low as he strikes.
Set.
Wales might exert a bit of pressure here. Yeah, they do. On comes the push. But Italy penalised.
Pulling down.
You're not convinced?
I think Italy have got away with one there. I think because of that amount of pressure on the Italian pack. He wasn't able to strike the ball, but Corey Domacasti there deemed to have been pulling the scrum down. But it's that man Marco Riccioni on the other side being so stable and rock solid.
Now back with Wales though, touch not found. Kick from Williams, good chase as well. Evans is there, does well. Pettinelli, almost. Watkin, great pass, good hands. There goes the captain, Domachowski. Good start to the second half by Wales. Morgan Williams, Beard. Oh, good angle. Excellent play from Lewis. Good hands as well from the tight end. Watkin in. Was that high? Perhaps not. Play goes on. Keddie. Williams. Half a gap. Thomas there in support. Another good angle. Excellent play from the tight end twice. Little gap for Morgan Williams. Oh, he's almost through. Wriggles his way forward. Knock on. Italy to clear. Well, it won't be a scrum 5 to Wales. It'll be a scrum in the same position to Italy after that knock on, but a much better start to the second half from the Welsh.
It's the first time I think we've actually seen Wales string a few more phases together than normal. But it's the pressure there. It's the 9 snapping off the base of the scrum that just stretches the Italian defense. But who's there then? Leonardo Kramov with the tackle on 9 and just dislodging that ball.
It's almost as if his leg pump dislodged it slightly when he was going forward.
It is. We haven't actually seen him snipe off the base of the scrum, and with Italy maintaining so many players on their feet in defense isn't as tight and cohesive as it should be around the ruck.
Big scrum. Italy might fancy this quick after the last one, even though they won that penalty.
Set.
And down we go.
Come on, touching the collapsing. We're working with the surface, okay? They're not taking the hit.
Yeah, we mentioned early on a lot of sand on the surface. Well, I don't need to tell you, do I, what sort of winter there's been in Wales this past 6 months or so.
Trussardi and Manfredi need to get that rhythm between 9 and hooker when he introduces that ball. If he introduces it under pressure, I think Wales might have the upper hand in the scrum.
They're not taking the hit! They're
Early
not
push.
taking the hit! They've got to take the hit! Take the hit. Take that! Okay. There we go. Take the hit. Do not drive in an angle. Let's go. No.
I wouldn't want to referee that, would you?
He's done really well. He's been really clear and concise in his with his instructions. He's been really confident as well. And I think players, you can see when a ref's confident in his decisions, and he's managed the scrum, I think, really well this evening.
Bind. Set.
Oh, Trussardi feeds somewhere behind the hooker. Great shunt from Wales. Italy under pressure. Penalty. Now, do they go for the scrum again? It was a penalty try last year that got them the win. A win this year would be a grand slam, and they may well fancy it.
We mentioned it prior to the introduction. Trussardi had no choice there but to introduce that ball under pressure. And you can just see Manfredi's head pop out there. He's under extreme pressure. He can't hook the ball. His pelvis is lifting just as he goes for the strike. Penalty against him.
Go for the kick? Not a surprise, I suppose. It's points, isn't it, at the end of the day?
I would go for the kick. I would go for the kick. Just extend that margin that you have on your position, and it just allows you that freedom to play a bit of more expansive rugby under less pressure. So why not?
I saw Jason Strange, the Wales coach, watching on as Daniel Jones slots Wales back into the lead. 9-6. If Troncal twitches, Strange is impassive. But I'm sure watching that, he's got plenty to cheer about inside.
It's that massive pressure there. Dylan Lewis coming in on the angle. That just allows the hooker, actually forces the hooker up. He's borderline legal, but it's exactly what you want your tight head to do, is just come in on that angle. I think Italy will be looking to their bench there with Bordian coming on. Now there's Mantelli actually taking the field now, but they'll be looking to change something in that front row.
So what can Wales do?
No hands!
They've got the lead. Can they extend it? Can they just settle the nerves?
He was outside. He was outside.
Not like that. Out on the full. And it'll be an Italy throw.
Yes, correct.
You did hear the referee actually say he was outside, and Italy come back.
On the line.
Did he take it back inside,
Taken
perhaps,
back
I think,
in,
yeah?
taken back in.
Well,
But shouldn't the line not then be on the outside of the 22?
Yes.
So Wales under pressure again of their own making. Italy been solid at the line out. It's a quicker ball this time for Trussardi. There's Marcelli again getting involved. Italy not quite able to break the line. They do now though. Sperandio, I think he's called it back for a forward pass, is he? Ooh. It's funny when you see it on a replay. It might be one of those ones that does look forward. I've got to admit, first glance, I thought it was a beauty. Let's have another look.
I think line ball is what they're calling it there. I mean, that pass is fine. To me, that's borderline as well. But it's the first time you actually see Italy going a bit more expansive. But just taking that ball in there was Giovanni Pettinelli. He's been really, really busy. Clear forward pass there. So good call from the ref.
I'm glad you said that because you're a plumber. I wouldn't want you putting a wall up for me if you thought that was a pass behind.
No, definitely gone forward there. He did well to spot it.
Let's hear from Nigel Davis again. Nigel, better start from Wales this time round.
Yeah, better start, and what they were able to do is go through about 6 or 7 phases in the right areas, and eventually that penalty came from that, and that's what they need to do. Hold on to the ball, go through the phases, and as I say, as soon as they get into phase 3 and phase 4, there's huge opportunities all over the park for them. But they've got to make sure they're in the right areas and then hold on to the ball and go through those phases, and that's how they'll break this Italian team down.
Wales not in the right area at the moment, but they have got this put in.
From an Italian point of view, you guys can see the in defense, Pettinelli is actually moving to the open side of the scrum, and Mazzelli's actually gone back to in the number 8 position. He's playing really, really well. He's putting his body around. He's getting through an awful amount of work, and he's covering a huge amount of ground too. So he'll be first off this side of the scrum.
We did mention before the game that Bacco was pretty combative, and they've lived up to that, the Italians. Good scrum from Wales though. Keddie, short ball, Watkin. Legs pumping, hard to bring down. Again, Wales have to commit though to get that ball back. Morgan Williams. Jones under pressure again from Ciotoli. Sperandio. Space over on that far side as well. Minozzi through. Good hands. Forced it. Bruno couldn't gather. Oh. I don't think he's noticed this, Giles, that the ref's going to call them back. It's a shame he forced it a little, didn't he, in the end?
He did. It's just that unsighted offload. You see him here. He does all so well to get through the half gap. Ball in one hand, so is not really ready to make that pass, but it's just the momentum from the ground. He can't get that pass away. But he's looking for space. I wouldn't mind seeing him spread the ball a bit more on counter-attack, but see Italian there, Pier Bruno actually looking for that gamble line. He's played well, Minozzi, in this game so far. He's looking to spread the ball. His distribution has been really pretty good, and he's kicking out of hand as well. He's been looking for spaces and keeping Wales at bay.
Minozzi, another at Calvisano, leading the Italian semi-pro league at the moment.
Leave him 9.
Wales know they're going to get solidity from that. That's a big shunt as well. There's a penalty coming to. Excellent work from the Wales forwards. Probably just out of range, but a chance to get them exactly where Nigel Davis said they should be, back in those right areas.
That is a massive scrum from Wales. The cohesion, the height that everybody is working at in that scrum has been really, really impressive. All 8 are on. Loose forwards are committed to the scrum and to the shove. Everybody's body position is absolutely perfect. That ball is not going past the 8-man's feet there. They had one intent, to milk that penalty and just assert sheer dominance.
Two Church Village boys at prop tonight. Domikowski and Lewis. Lots pinned on Dylan Lewis, the tight end. Such a key position in rugby these days. Can he make the step up from 20s to senior? Good attacking ball for Wales. Watkins, so difficult to bring down. Wales clean out as well. Options then. Numbers not yet sucked in, so Wales go for route one. Oh, good strength from the Welsh forwards. Making the hard inches, the hard yards. Much more patient in the build-up from Wales. Keddie standing still, but good footwork. Watkin again. Williams cuts back in on the angle, not quite. Numbers for Wales on the right. Just fancy Wales edging closer towards that first try. Was it forward? Play on, says the referee. Much quicker ball again from the base of that ruck. Lewis Hughes. Italy under pressure. Can Wales find a way through? Evans. Good Italian defence so far. Now they have space. Watkin, half a gap. Millard there to support his fellow centre. Using every inch of the field, Wales, as they try and break down this Italian defence. Back to the forwards this time. Marcelli desperate to come through, they're that close.
One roll.
Beard lending 19 stones worth of weight in there.
Back foot, back foot.
Keddie is through. Keddie is over. Wales have scored, and is that the try that opens the door to an under-20s Grand Slam? It's been coming in this second half, and it's the man of the match from last week, Harrison Keddie, who crosses for the game's opening try.
What a massive difference to the way this Welsh team has attacked in the first half. They're direct, they're combative. It's so cohesive at the base of that scrum. And there you see Harrison Keddie. There's no ways anybody stopping him if they're not in that low body position. He's too big, he's too strong, he's too powerful. And he was hunting to get that ball in his hands from the few phases before that. There's just nobody close from the Italian point of view to try and stop him from there. Great try, well worked, and it's so direct and so cohesive, completely different to any style of attack than they produced out in the first half.
That was a roar of relief as well, I think, as much as anything else, wasn't it?
I think now they'll play a bit more expansive rugby off that first phase. If they direct as what they have been, the result is going to be more tries.
To make the gap to 10, and Daniel Jones does, and all of a sudden it's looking much more comfortable for Wales.
I think that try there from Harrison Keddie will settle the nerves, and it's Samuel Ortiz there that actually misses the hit on him. He's too big to not have two defenders on him. One needs to go low, one needs to go high, but I think welcome relief from a Welsh point of view.
He's what we'd call a unit in Wales, Harrison Keddie. He's a bit of a monster, isn't he?
He's massive, and I think if he gets a head of steam as well, he's even more difficult to stop.
Time on.
Changes then for the Italians. Mantagazza is on. Went to school in Blackrock College, Brian O'Driscoll's old school. Let's hear from Nigel then. First try, Nigel. Nerves steadied, perhaps.
Yes. Then. Yeah, I think it stemmed from the scrum around the halfway line, you know, and Wales had the ascendancy there, and rather than try and do anything too complicated, just use that to get a penalty and then get a platform deep into the Italian half, and then do exactly what we spoke about, really, is just go through those phases. They tightened it up a little bit, so you know they made sure there was more percentage of going through the phases and kept on going at this Italian team, and that's what they've got to do. And when they get to the high phase numbers, that's when they can break this Italian side down. But up until that point, we just turned the ball over too early in the phases.
Thanks, Nigel.
Crouch. Bind.
Well, Harrison Keddie goes from raw to agony after dropping that ball from the restart, and Italy
It wasn't straight, but it's a good shove from Wales. Keddie sets off. Giles puts the shoulder in. Might not be the biggest, but he's got strength as the winger. Maselli fancied it, but Italy infringe, and Wales very, very firmly on top now.
It's the power there from the scrum that you see. I think they know they've got absolute dominance up front there. If they keep this ball in the forwards, ideal thing now. I mean, it's just sheer dominance up front. Everybody's working on a different level to the Italian pack at the moment. I think he's too big. He's too big to let loose off the back of the scrum. But I think there looks like he's in a bit of bother with that left thumb.
There comes a point where you can carry on. I don't know. We'll keep an eye on Harrison Keddie and see how he does, because that looked painful. Giles under pressure, good step and turn. He has got fantastic feet, and he's got gas as well. Keelan Giles looking for support. Phillips. Blink and you miss him. What a run.
Back foot, back foot.
Both props heavily involved when Wales have the ball in hand. Lewis, the tight head. Italy trying to hold him up. Good strength. Jones spots a gap. This one for Thomas to chase. A little too far, but the pressure's on, and Italy can't get that ball out. It's all Wales at the moment. Williams. Only one way that's going. It's going to land outside the 22 as well. So pressure. Oh, Williams takes him in the air. Referee. No arm out. So clearly thought it was an unintentional clash. Crowd have seen something. Millard's not getting up something in the back area. Jones does well. Under pressure. Italy fancy the turnover, but over-eager. And Wales can just steady themselves and nurse this touchline.
Time on.
Well, I think whatever the crowd had seen, the TMO is now seen as well.
I think they'll be looking at Daniele Rimpelli there at the
Is that foul play potentially against
the last
Blue?
ruck.
Correct.
Okay, we'll bring
Back
it up.
you go. Back you go. All right, 2 seconds.
If it is Rimpelli,
Back you go a minute.
the loose head prop, they'd look at him in the first half as well for a boot. There might be Riccioni, the captain this time. There he is.
Perfect. I've just heard a remonstration. I haven't seen anything. So. Okay.
That's careless there from Rimpelli on Harry Millard, and I think anything where players elevated beyond 90, the refs are pretty strict on it, so I think he's going to be in a bit of bother.
Another angle, Kevin?
Yes, we're just getting another one now.
Strange one, because off the ball as well. Let's have another look. You're looking for number 1 on 13. Oh, I think you might see yellow, do you?
I think he will see yellow here. He's got the right head, he's got the right leg, excuse me, of Harry Millard, and he takes him past through 90 and just no disregard.
Okay,
and,
Frank,
no
those are the
control
best
and put it
angles.
into ground.
Okay, so I've seen number 1 Blue lift the player on above the horizontal and not have duty of care as he grounds him onto his back.
Yeah, that duty of care is the key phrase.
Yellow card.
I agree, Blue 1.
Perfect. Do you have a
The
mark
prop
for me?
had to make sure that he got back down to ground safely.
Okay.
But Millard was dumped unceremoniously.
Back you go. There. Blue 1.
Yeah, I think Rimpelli might be in trouble here.
Number 1, yes. Yes. As you've seen in the replay, dangerous situation. I can't have it. Yellow card.
Not what Italy needed. Under pressure, scrum under all sorts of pressure. And Daniele Rimpelli will spend 10 minutes in the sin bin.
Tactically speaking now, from a Welsh point of view, if they kick this ball to touch, their first instinct needs to be is to keep this ball in the maul, keep it amongst the forwards. Italians are down a man, are down a big lump as well, so they're minus a few kgs in those tight phases. And just see there, he lifts the right leg up, takes him through the 90. It's a bit more careless than anything, but he's paid the price for it.
Blue, on the line.
You see Sean Evans there at halfback, and this ball will definitely be going into a maul.
And here we go. As predicted. Evans at the back. In come the backs as well. Watkin is there. Thomas is there. Italy have stood their ground thus far, but Wales further forwards. Evans just needs a sniff of that line, and he is over. Try number 2 for Wales. And unless there is a miracle from the Italians, the Grand Slam is heading to Wales under-20s.
We just see it here. We predicted it would go into a maul, and the backs have piled in here to get a taste of glory too. But the ball is under control. It's at the back of that maul. Sean Evans is clear side to the line. He has players in front of him, which is the ideal situation in a maul. He's in control. He's got a low body position. He's got his 9 behind him directing traffic, and it's a clear and well-worked try from this Welsh pack.
I mean, a one-man advantage is enough anyway, but when you've got backs the size of Owen Watkin and Joe Thomas, it really helps, doesn't it? And they put all that weight to good use.
The ball was definitely getting, definitely not moving past that maul, and I think it's a well-deserved try for pressure they've exerted on this Italian team. We saw them creaking at half-time at that scrum, and they've exerted their dominance well.
And it's a totally different Wales in this second half. Daniel Jones again with the extras. Wales up to 23. And there's a risk here that they could run riot if they keep this pressure exerted. Mantelli then to get Italy back underway. Wales don't need to do anything fancy now. Might not be pretty, but a win is all they need. A championship, the Grand Slam, and Wales are through. Italy again playing themselves under pressure. Giles to chase. Good football from Trussardi to side foot the ball into touch. But you do not want to give that man any space at all, and that's what Italy did.
He's just that lethal there. I see you see Minotti just keeping that ball in play. It tiptoes on the touchline. But look at Trussardi here showing clean pair of heels to actually get back and relieve the pressure. Good footballing skills, ball into touch. Minotti did well initially to keep that ball, but it's just that dangerous with
Well, here go Wales again. They've got that extra man advantage, remember, with Rimpelli in the bin. It's a carbon copy so far of try number 2. That is pretty much unstoppable at the moment. Now we're down. There's a body on the wrong side there. Ortis, and Italy have done really, really well. Carlo with a big grin on his face. Fair play with a man down. That is good defence from the Italians.
It's more of a grin of relief and how they actually did that than anything. But that man Samuel Ortiz, they're using his experience and actually stopping that maul. If that went any further, that would have been a certain try. Just see shifting the point of contact there with Wales, taking that ball further back down the line, and it's just that cohesion, keeping players ahead of the ball that makes it more so effective. Samuel Ortiz, they're doing really well just to hold it up and force the turnover.
Yes, Sperandio off, Borjan on, because you have to have a full complement of specialist front row forwards. Rimpelli in the bin, remember, the original loosehead. But Wales won't mind this at all because the scrum has gone really, really well in this second half. Will they go for the shove again? Italy under pressure again. The feed is deep, let's put it like that. Huge scrum from Wales. Pettinelli does well under pressure. Boots a ball as well. Not just Parise who can kick at number 8 for the Italians, but Wales still on the attack and chasing try number 3.
Pettinelli did well there to clear that ball, and under massive pressure. But it's Dylan Lewis again doing really good work in the scrum and just exerting massive amount of pressure there on Marco Manfredi.
Stay inside, 7.
Hughes of Llandudno then, and the Scarlets to throw. Keddie at the back. It's good ball for Watkin. Miller then support. Half a gap.
Tackle, release, release.
More than a sniff of another try for Wales, and again that man advantage beginning to tell. Beard is in there, Hughes as well. Hughes still has it, peels away. Desperate defence from the Italians. Morgan Williams, there are numbers. Good step inside from Thomas, not quite.
No, no. Hey,
Keddie waiting. He's the dummy runner though. It's Domikowski. No need to rush it here. They're that close, back it comes. Little show and go from Morgan Williams. Not quite the physical power to force his way over though. Lewis Hughes there again. It's a little loose from Wales. Now there's a big gap there though again. Chiatoli with the last gasp tackle. It's a big overlap on that left hand side if Wales can use it. Keddie didn't see it though. Morgan Williams, the numbers are still there. That ball needs to get moved wide, but it didn't get moved wide, and there was a knock on. That's one of the frustrations of the modern game, Cara. There's an overlap and it's not taken.
It's a massive, massive case of white line fever there. 4-man overlap on the outside, and not spreading that ball resulted in turnover. But you see him there. If that ball had shifted 2 passes earlier, there would have been a massive overlap on that left-hand side. There's the overlap there, clearly 1, 2, 3, 4 Welsh players, and you see the frustration of the outside backs just not letting that ball being expanded. It needs to move wide. Italy are under massive pressure. They're extremely stressed. Defenses are weak. That ball needs to shift into the wide open channels.
Well, let's get down to the touchline. Phil Steele, who have you got?
Well, it's always great to meet the parents of some of these players. This is Paul Watkin, former Maesteg Bridgend centre, father of Owen Watkin. Paul, how does it feel to be the father of what looks like to be a Grand Slam winner?
A very proud moment. As I said, it's never happened before. So yeah, it's been a slow game to start, but yeah, this looks like they're gonna put them to bed now, I hope.
And you've also played a part in Owen's development, not just as a dad, but as a coach as well.
A little bit at Bridgend College, where Owen had studied along with Garnick and Craig Waller. Yeah, so yeah, we've had time to work with them as well.
Do you get nervous watching him as a parent?
I'm alright, I'm quite laid back really, so no, he's enjoying it.
The celebrations and extra pocket money for him tonight, is it?
Got his own pocket money.
I bet he has. Cheers, Paul. Congratulations, Grand Slam parent.
Thank you, cheers.
It's always uncomfortable when you remember someone's dad playing rugby, because it makes you realise how old you get yourself, doesn't it? Now Wales bringing the changes now as well. Everyone getting a little bit of the action for what should be a Grand Slam winning performance, and smiles all round as well. They deserve it. It's been a long, hard season. There's Rhys Fawcett of the Scarlets. Reuben Morgan Williams, still in school, just 18 years old. Put in a good shift tonight. Declan Smith is on.
Crouch. Bind. Set.
So do they go for the shove again? Trussardi feeds.
Don't touch it. Don't touch
Oh,
it.
it's against the head.
Okay, just turn around.
But not quite.
Didn't go to full 90.
I think a prop should become a ref one day.
Didn't go to full 90.
And you might have a totally different picture of what's going on there all of a
Let's
sudden.
go.
I think we might need a book to translate the perplexing facial emotions of how to get that decision. But Italy there got a full complement on the scrum, which is exactly what they need. But they just need to maintain this ball. It needs to come out channel 1 just to relieve a bit of pressure.
Bind.
No fullback, remember, for Italy. So if Wales do get the ball, there is that gap behind. Trussardi.
What's that?
Wasn't geometrically straight, really, was it? But Italy get the ball, and that's all they need at the
Use
moment. Difficult position, though, in the field to clear from. An awful lot of
Tackle,
ground to
release.
make up with a clearance kick, which is why the forwards have taken it on. 2 minutes for Rimpelli in that sin bin until Italy are back up to 15. That just shows you how difficult the kick, because the clearance doesn't quite make it to the edge of the 22.
Underline.
Look at that.
Let's go.
Blues in a bit of form at the moment, 27-18.
Okay.
Beard. Well won again in the middle. Smith. It's Millard, half a gap, can't quite get away, can Giles. Again though, Wales on that front foot. Jones, excellent pass. Williams, great play from Wales. It's try number 3, it's Joe Thomas. And now they know their hands are going to be on that trophy.
Just look out for Reen Williams here on the right of your screen. He does everything right. Run straight, draw defenders, and give that pass on his right hand. Absolutely textbook, and it's exactly what you watch outside backs to do. If you run it inside shoulders, it creates space for the fast runners out wide. And Joe Thomas there, I think he wouldn't get many easier tries than that.
Well, Wales have taken full advantage of the sin binning. If Daniel Jones slots this in, it is a difficult kick. It'll be 14 unanswered points since Daniel Rimpelli saw yellow for that tip tackle on Harry Millard. Jones then to take Wales to 30. Oh, that's a great kick as well. Straight through the middle, Wales 30, Italy 6, Phil Steele.
Yeah, and with a Grand Slam winning coach here, I think we can say that. Jason Strange. Jason, I think we can say congratulations now. What's been the difference in this second half?
I think we've just shown a little bit more composure with the ball. Our ball control's been better, contact area's been better, and yeah, we're playing well off the back of that now.
You're not one to show your emotions, but you were up on your feet with that try there. How do you feel about it all?
Yeah, absolutely delighted, you know, for the players. We spoke half-time about...
Well, here go Italy, though. First time we've seen Marcelli with ball in hand in this second half. Plucked it out of the air, basketball style. Italy not quite finished yet.
Great tactic there to use the short kick to try and recover possession. But Marcelli, he's been really busy in the first half. He's got big, powerful legs. He's a good, strong runner. If he keeps that ball in play, I think Italy have a good chance of building a few phases and exerting a bit of momentum.
Wales then opting to run it out.
Roll tackler.
In goes Smith. We'll hear from Jason Strange again in a second once Wales get this clear. Well played, it is clear, of sorts. Back to you, Phil.
Yeah, thanks, Jason. You were just saying about how it feels to be a Grand Slam winning coach.
Yeah, you know, delighted for the players yet again. You know, they've shown tremendous character the second half. You know, after a nervy first half, really pleased for the commitment, and you know, hopefully they'll be rewarded at the end of this game with another good result for us.
You're the first ever Wales under-20 Grand Slam winning coach. Well done.
Yeah, thanks so much, Phil. Cheers.
Cheers, Jason.
Thank you.
Not much for Mr. Troncon to get animated about in this second half from an Italian point of view. Manfredi throws and peels and takes. And again, that rolling maul that they used well in the first half. Riccioni. Borian is there as well. Wales can't quite afford to switch off just yet.
Roll away, Tree.
Mantagazza.
Good. Ball is always there.
Not many Welsh bodies in that ruck, so the defence is fanned out across the field. Italy have to snipe. Pettinelli almost lost it. Getting closer and closer to that Welsh line. Trussardi. Good angle. Marcelli is there. Trussardi again, just keeping it tight, the Italians. Mantagazza. Trussardi marshalling his backs, but it's with the forwards again. Ciottoli. Wales just standing firm at the moment, not committing too many numbers to those breakdowns.
Mantelli, no way through. Wales counter ruck as well. Fancy the turnover, but back with Trossardi. Untidy ball though. Keddie is through. Good defence from Wales. They pushed Italy right back. Mantelli. Borian stopped in his tracks. Excellent work from Evans. Trossardi again. Look at the ground Italy have lost here. Pettinelli. Some forward thrust. Still looking a little laboured at the moment from Italy. That try burst from Wales has knocked the stuffing out of them. Trossardi can't get it, it's slow. He's having to fight for it. Illegal work from Wales. Trossardi thought about a quick one. I think perhaps the body language says it all, doesn't it?
I think the Italian team at the moment, they just completely run out of their feet, but what excellent defence there from Wales. I mean, pushing them back 25 metres from their own try line to exert pressure in defence. It's composed, it's patient, and it's controlled.
Time off, Singman back on.
There we go. You heard the officials. Italy back up to 15. Sperandio is back on. Borian, I think, will stay on. Rimpelli will stay on the bench now. We were talking before the game, weren't we, about looking forward to seeing Leon Brown, cross keys prop, 6'3", 19 and a bit stone. Wouldn't mind seeing him with ball in hand at some point in the remaining 7 minutes or so.
Talk about bringing on some heavy artillery. 8 minutes to go. As a big man, I'd like to see him. Get his hands on the ball.
Yeah, Owen Watkin off as well. He's put in another big shift as the Osprey centre.
He has to. He's been really solid in the midfield there, both in attack and defence. His kick chase has been well. He's been leading that line up front.
Dylan Lewis as well, the Blues tight end, is off to prepare for the celebrations. Defensive duties first though for Wales, overthrown from the Italians, dangerous though for Wales, managed to just about bring it clear through Hughes. Lots of pressure on Wales there, but it'll be a Welsh put in.
Time off, substitution.
They're going through all the substitutions now at Wales, get them all on, get them that experience. For a lot of these players, this is no matter what they go on and achieve in their later careers, this is a night they'll never forget, Carlo.
It is. I mean, what an absolute privilege to be able to hold a trophy up, to say that you won a Grand Slam, to say that you played in a prestigious tournament like the Six Nations, and it'll stay with you forever on your CV.
And as we were saying before as well, there's plenty of very, very famous Wales players playing now at senior level, never quite managed it at under-20s level. These boys tonight are going to.
Crouch! Bind! Set!
Wales feed then. Again, down this side. Is the ref going to let this one go? He's going to give the penalty instead.
Great out.
You can see the pressure again being exerted, and no matter who Wales have got on in that front row, they really have turned the screw on the Italian tight five.
Speaking to Nigel Davies before the game, and how important it is to maintain your first phase ball, and if the scrum is singing, if the line out is working and everything up front is working like an absolute machine, you can have control of the game, you can move the opposition around the field how you want them, and if that dominance isn't asserted up front, it's very difficult to make headway into the game. So Wales have done that completely by winning the scrum and line out ball.
Phillips, the replacement hooker, throws a good one, bullet style throw. Gives Wales options there. There is Brown.
No hands. Stay up. Advantage. No arm tackle advantage.
Wales will be more than happy to just ease it through those tight little phases, force the penalties from Italy, who are desperate just to try and get their hands on the ball, and watch that clock tick closer and closer to 80, to the championship and to the Grand Slam. Good to see the Wales players still really talking to each other. Harry Keddie, a real talker amongst that pack. They'll probably fancy going out on a high. Another try would really get the crowd on their feet as Italy make the changes as well. Michael DeMarco, another of the side who went to school in South Africa from Port Elizabeth, now with the Italian National Academy. That's Nicolo Rolia as well, plays for Firenze. Wales gather just. Morgan in the middle. Wales, options and numbers. Millard looks for support, sees the gap. Good defence again though from the Italians. Quick ball for Wales. Thomas has to go in to help. Scrappy. Italy turn it over.
No hands.
Hasn't quite gone to plan for Wales at the breakdown at all times tonight. And Italy will break. Marcelli, haven't seen much of him in the second half. That's what he can do. And Giles can't quite gather. He's one of those players, isn't he? Every time he gets even a sniff of the ball, I think he thought he was in as well. You just don't quite know if what he's going to do. Is he going to score? Look, he's alert. Oh, and off he goes.
It's almost like he can't believe it himself. It's just, come on, give a dog a bone here, give him something to work with, something to try and exploit. But he hasn't had space, he hasn't had the chances this evening. But I think we'll definitely see more of that man in the future.
Runs like a sprinter, doesn't he, rather than a rugby player? Lovely action.
Honestly, effortless. He's just got massive hamstrings, and it's a speed to boat as well. So I think he's a star of the future. Somebody that's capable of lighting up a game from anywhere in the field. I think it's just been one of those games that haven't flowed today. It hasn't been any momentum or fluency.
18 years old, 2 tries.
Set.
Up last week.
Okay.
Not quite gone his way this evening, but exciting play nonetheless.
Closer together. Okay. Straight. Yeah, we'll come here.
3 minutes till the party kicks off then.
Understood? Yes.
Is there one more try in this game? It's Bryce Morgan with a headband. Mark Taylor, team manager, Grand Slam winner with Wales in 2005 on the touchline.
Set.
Player and management team Grand Slam. Italy feed, down it goes. Penalty Wales. No wonder, you've got all sorts of options. I know what the crowd would like. Carlo, I think it'll be a kick to touch though, do you?
You know what, I wouldn't mind seeing a quick tap and just let them loose. 30 points to 6, why not play expansive? I think they go to a rolling maul here from this line out when it gets kicked to touch, but they've played really well. Second half has been completely different to the first. They've been direct, they've been comprehensive. Up front it's been cohesive, and it's just exactly what you want from your tight five. Give your backs that ball and they'll score points for you.
Here we go then, I reckon it's Beard in the middle. It is 6'8", plucks it out of the sky and on goes that rolling maul again. Italy did well defending it last time, hasn't quite got that forward momentum yet. Now it has. Beard directing, down it goes. Legally or illegally,
advantage.
Still with Wales, advantage is coming.
Advantage. Release, release.
Smith is there, Diggs. Still close.
Stay, still advantage.
This really would
Roll away.
crown it for Wales. Keddie, again, playing scrum half.
Back foot, back
Excellent
foot.
leg drive from Morgan. Beard, oh, he's got long levers. He thought about reaching, didn't quite get
Still
there.
advantage.
Still advantage Wales. McBride. Phillips, pumping those legs. Marcelli
holds him up, forces him back. Smith is in there. Scrappy for Wales. Italian bodies in the way as well. Jones thought about offloading to Millard. Lays it back. That clock ticking down to confirmation as well. There is Brown on the charge. Difficult man to stop. Just short.
Use it.
Smith again. Out it pops again. Keddie. Force it there in support. Smith once more. And they got numbers if they can move it.
Ball's there.
Smith digs again. Got options this side actually. They're still short, plugging away. Desperate to cross. They cross. Frank Murphy is there, and the referee awards the try. It crowns it for Wales. It's Harrison Keddie, man of the match last week. Scores for Wales. The championship, the Grand Slam, is on its way to Colwyn Bay. Keddie started it, and Keddie will finish it as well.
Just see him, he knows exactly where to run, exactly where to get his hands on that ball. This big, massive man with a low center of gravity is very, very difficult to stop when it's that close to the line, and just see him hunting. He's been in the open phases in the build-up leading to that try, but ball in hand, Italy just too stretched, too weak in defense around the fringes, and somebody who can read the game well, get his hands on the ball at the right moment of time, and did well to control that under pressure too, but definitely a try from Harrison Keddie there.
Not that it matters now. I thought maybe a little short, but no, I think he got there in the end, didn't he? As Jones, for once, off target. It really doesn't matter though, because Wales in the second half have played exactly as what they are. The under-20s Six Nations champions, the under-20s Six Nations Grand Slam champions. First half didn't go to plan. Second half was clinical, incisive, and they absolutely blew the Italians away. And now they celebrate the just rewards of a hard-fought campaign where they have obliterated England, toughed it out against Scotland, and when it really mattered, were comfortable as well against the Italians. 35 points to 6 winners, a first ever Grand Slam at under-20s level for Wales, a first ever under-20s Six Nations championship for Wales, and some of those players will now have written their names into Welsh rugby history. Carlo, your thoughts, and you better give us your man of the match as well.
I tell you what, Owen Watkin, I really like the look of him. I think he played exceptionally well. He was solid in defense. He was really good in attack as well, but I think it's just his leadership midfield as well. He got them going in the second half. It's two completely different teams that played the first half compared to the second. They looked a bit more relaxed in the second half. They were very direct in what they were trying to do. They looked more convincing as well in everything that they did try and do. But I think just reward, they were super dominant. They did everything well in the second half, dominating up front, exerting pressure, converting points, and I mean, they really played to their strength as well with Harrison Keddie with those close contact runs. It's very difficult man to stop.
You don't need words to say what that means. Let's get down to the touchline. Phil Steele.
Here he is, the man of the match, Bryn Kethin, Rugby Club's finest, Owen Watkin. Congratulations, Owen, you're a Grand Slam winner. How does that feel?
It's a great achievement. We've all worked really hard throughout the year just to get to this point, and we're all so happy we won it. And it was a tough game, but I think we deserved it in the end.
Yeah, you said it was a tough game. You looked quite nervous early on as a team. Were you nervous coming out?
I think it's just the occasion bit got to us, that knowing it's Grand Slam online, and Italy were in the way for it. But second half, I think we caught the box firing, and we deserved to win in the end.
What was the difference, sort of tactically, in the second half, do you think?
Just playing the right areas, get territory, and just keep the ball in there off, and we know we'd score tries and just win in the end.
And no, that doesn't end for you this season, because you might have Ospreys commitments, but also the World Cup, the annual World Cup. How are you looking forward to that, going as Six Nations champions?
Oh, we're looking forward to it. It's going to be a big test. We've got New Zealand in our group, but we all love a challenge, and that's what we're there for, to enjoy it and hopefully get a win.
You're not the first Watkin to be on television tonight, because we had your father on earlier on. A word for your father, because he's played a lot in your development.
Oh yeah, both parents do a lot for me. I wouldn't be here without them, so I'm really pleased with them, and I hope they're proud of me.
I bet they're having a pint for you and Bryn Kethin tonight. Well done, Owen.
Cheers. Okay.
Many congratulations to Owen Watkin, to Tom Phillips there, the captain of the under-20s, and of course to Jason Strange, the man who masterminded this Grand Slam. Nigel Davis, what a performance in that second half. They really turned it on and deserved champions.
Oh, it's fantastic. You know what that's going to do for these guys' confidence is going to be huge, and it's going to give them a lot of momentum now going into this World Cup campaign. They've been fantastic. You know, take that first half away and the way they built their game into the second half based on the set piece, but then eventually breaking this Italian team down. What a fantastic achievement by these young men.
They're picking their medals up, as we can see. All of the squad will get a medal. Everyone has played their part in this campaign. The trophy lift will follow as well. The big moment. Kingsley, that second half, as Nigel has just mentioned, there's such a difference in attitude, in composure, in application. Was it just getting rid of those first half nerves?
Yeah, I think it was. I think, you know, second half, particularly the scrum improved dramatically, and that was a key point in the game. And of course, the yellow card. I mean, what Nigel was asking for was phases, and leading up to Keddie's first try that broke them down was lots of phases. Got Keddie's try, then a yellow card, kick to the corner immediately, and the game was finished with that following drive. So excellent for Wales. Played. You've got to say a few words for Italy. I thought they really battled right to the end there. They defended with their lives. You know, they really did put a lot into it tonight. And the scoreline, you know, is a great scoreline for Wales considering the first half and the way that Italy got stuck in.
And a special word for Harrison Keddie. I mean, we talked about him pre-match. Nigel, you know him from Evervale. Kingsley, you know him from the Dragons. I mean, that was a towering performance in the second half. 2 tries, and they could not contain him physically.
No, you know, he showed his great promise, really. He's very, very physical young man. Of course, he's playing in the Premiership in Wales with Evervale, and that's really brought him on. And, you know, he's got the confidence now to come and play at under 20 level and put in performance like that. You know, he looked a level above in terms of
Okay, Nigel, I have to interrupt you because the trophy's about to be lifted. Let's go back to Gareth Lewis and Carlo.
Remember the names. There's Captain Tom Phillips with the under-20s Six Nations trophy. They are champions. They are Grand Slam champions. And given the way they dismantled Italy in the second half, they dismantled England last week, they won ugly against Scotland, they won ugly against France. Not only will their names go down in age grade history, those names may well find their way onto regional team sheets and a senior Wales team sheet in the very near future. What a message they have sent out. In the summer, they go just over the border to Manchester, the Under-20 World Championship, and they will go there as the champions of Europe. You'd echo what they say, Carlo. A great experience for these boys, something they can learn from and something they can build on as well.
Honestly, I think it'll be something they'll never ever forget, and I think just reward for the way they've done it as well. They've made this place a fortress. They've won all their games. They've been fantastic. They've been comprehensive in everything that they've done. And why not see some of these places, some of these names in the future? And I wouldn't be surprised if you see the likes of Owen Watkin, you see the likes of Dylan Lewis in a Wales jersey in a few years' time.
Let's go back down to Geraint Lewis. I think he's with Phil.
Yes, we heard from Jason Strange earlier on. This is the other half of the Wales coaching panel. Geraint, how good was that forward performance, particularly in the second half?
Yeah, we struggled to get into the game first half, but second half, in fairness to the boys, they took control of the game. You know, we got some possession, got some territory, and I thought they just upped their tempo, up their work rate, and we said at half-time, you know, just to try and stress the Italians a bit more, and I thought they did that superbly second half.
What will this do for confidence now ahead of the annual World Cup?
Yeah, definitely, you know, the boys can go into there now full of confidence. You know, we're going to be a marked team, but that's what it's all about. You know, we've targeted this tournament to really perform, and you know, I'm just happy for the boys that all their hard work has come to fruition, and winning a Grand Slam is something very memorable for them.
And on a personal level, as a developing coach yourself, how does it feel to have a Grand Slam on your CV?
Yeah, great, you know, superb, you know, but it's the players, it's, you know, the hardest thing in rugby is to play, and, you know, they've been superb all the way through. You know, they're helping me become a better coach, and, you know, hopefully I can help them become a better player, and, you know, we're all developing. It's just great to give us a bit of confidence now going forward.
Well said, Ger. Enjoy the celebrations.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Yeah, congratulations too to Geraint P. Lewis, former Pontypridd back rower, of course, and as he mentioned there, improving his coaching, Kingsley. It works two ways. The coaches are improving as the players are.
No, it's a fact. Good coaches got good players, and great coaches got great players. There's no doubt about it. And it's very interesting there. It's not shaking champagne. It's actually lemonade, because two of the boys are under 17. Fantastic. But great to see him celebrating. And Geraint spoke very well there. His contribution. And Jason Strange, of course, another old teammate of mine. Great guys, good teachers, and a lot of humility. And I can see that in that group. So well done to them.
Indeed. Tom Phillips, the victorious captain, has the trophy, and he's with Phil Steele.
Yeah, I think he's just lent the trophy out a minute, Ross, to the boys, but he's certainly here. How does it feel, Grand Slam captain?
Amazing. The sort of things, when you're young and you're training hard, you sort of aspire to get to, and it's a bit surreal at the moment, but I'm sure it'll sink in.
We saw you out in Ireland the first game. Did you think it was on from the very beginning in Ireland, or what?
We said from the start, we've been confident in our own ability, but as a team we've enjoyed and we've pushed ourselves to be really humble on and off the field. But within ourselves, we knew what we were capable of. And to be fair to Italy, they gave us a tough run that first half, and we had to have a real talking to going in, coming out second half. But again, the togetherness of the boys is just next to nothing, and I couldn't be prouder.
What part did this crowd play? Because especially in that first half, when you were under the pump for a good half hour, how much of a lift did they give you?
I tell you what, the 3 games we played here, the crowd have been phenomenal. They come out of their way, family travel up, the people from North Wales, and they always give everything to support us. And as you can hear now, it's just a really amazing feeling, and they've really helped us.
I'll say it again, Tom Phillips, Grand Slam captain, well done.
It'll sink in soon. Thank you. Cheers.
What a wonderful thing to hear Grand Slam captain this day, this night. This campaign will live in his memory for a very long time. And Nigel, we talked at half-time about how the national side, the senior side, has become so renowned for its defensive qualities and the style of rugby they play. How refreshing then to see these under-20s play with such abandon, with such enterprise over the campaign.
Yeah, it's great, and at the end of the day, it's a fantastic achievement for this group of boys. But at this age, it's not all about winning. And, they've expanded their game, they played a different type of game. Today, they had to play it tight in the second half, work with their strengths, which was their pack, really, and build their performance there. So they've learned to win during this campaign in different ways and different styles, and that's exactly what the best teams in the world need to be able to do.
And a key word there from Tom Phillips, Kingsley. He said they've enjoyed themselves, and you can see that in the way they've been expressing themselves.
Yeah, absolutely, and I think it comes with winning as well. It started off, it wasn't easy. Some tight games, you remember, Billy McBride kicking the penalty there, death to get us a victory, and it's grown, and the confidence has grown, and full credit to everybody involved. The work ethic and the motto of that group of people, as Nigel alluded to earlier on, is about the team, and the team is the star. And we know we've got key individuals within it, but certainly looks that way, and good luck to them for the World Cup. 2-try
hero Harrison Keddie is with Phil. Let's go and speak to him.
Yeah, they'd be delighted in Caerleon Rugby Club to see this man. How good was that forward performance? Because you were at the real heart of that.
Yeah, I think all 4 forward performances at that, you've got to go to the big men up front, Dylan, Corey and Dav, front 3 were outstanding. Or not just tonight, all for the tournament, that scrum. And the second rows have set the platform for us in the line out, the front 5 were outstanding for us.
What about this lot here, this crowd?
Coming up to Irish, it's been outstanding, it's like, I know it's a cliche to say it's the 16th man, but they are. It's the support they've given us all through this year has been second to none, we can't fault it at all. And thank you to everyone for coming.
Caerleon's Grand Slam winner, well done.
Cheers, thank you very much.
Yeah. On that note, Kingsley, we say it every year, the atmosphere at Parc Arias is electric. They sell out every time the Wales under-20s play here. Wales under-20s rugby's here to stay, isn't it?
Oh, it's got to be. I've been lucky enough to bring a Russian team up here during autumn internationals, and they've been supported by the North Walians, to believe it or not. So, no, it's great. And as you say, people travelling up from South Wales, very vocal. Nigel and I have been in full conversation throughout the game with the locals here, drinking cans of Strongbow, not me and Nigel. But no, the atmosphere is fantastic, and long may it continue.
Absolutely, and I suppose the Russian weather is quite similar to the North Walian weather tonight. It is freezing up here, but yeah, on that same note, Nigel, it is a fantastic venue. We heard today a £1 million investment, 3G pitch here, this time next season. What a place, what a set of supporters.
Oh, it's absolutely amazing, and the support they get here is second to none. I think what we have to ensure is that we capitalise on this now and make sure that we get a club up here that we can bring into the Premiership at the very least. one final word I got to say is you don't get nights like this very quickly, so these guys have really got to enjoy this moment.